Zeina, thank you for coming back in. Would you like to tell me a bit more about your story?
Yes, thank you. Where to begin? Let me tell you about that awful day. I was at work at the hospital in my neighborhood, like any other day. But of course it wasn't any other day. It was the day I lost the Syria I knew. Following the protests and clashes, the bombing started. If only my husband had been walking down another street. We didn't leave right away. Even though he was gone, I felt like I would be leaving my husband. I cried for days in the company of my family and neighbors. We all hoped the conflict would be over quickly and did not want to leave our homes. But the bombs kept falling, and the children were afraid and asking for their father. I often found them hiding under their blankets in bed. Our neighbors began to leave. Some traveled south into Lebanon, hoping to find work. I heard of others in Syria escaping to Turkey, Egypt, Jordan, and Iraq. With my family, it was decided that my children and I would travel to the camps in Jordan, where we knew we would receive some help. My parents didn't have the strength for the journey. After crossing the border, we were taken to a registration center managed by the United Nations and the Jordanians. From there, we were assigned to one of the camps. After we registered with the UN, we were settled in a small tent. The camp was not a nice place to be. The tent leaked when the weather was bad. We shivered some nights without enough blankets. The World Food Program provided us with resources to buy food, but the amounts got smaller as more refugees arrived. I used my savings to make sure the children were not hungry. We were frustrated because of the lack of privacy, washing facilities, and the quality of other services. But we felt safer in the camp. There were some brief moments we forgot our sadness. The children were attending school. But it was not a home. We had lost our independence and mostly life was on hold. We were only surviving. I did not want my children to grow up there. I wanted them to have a future. Word spread that the United Nations was contacting candidates for resettlement to Canada. Some of our neighbors had received text messages, but they did not want to move to a faraway country and decided to stay closer to Syria. Others, desperate and having run out of savings, had decided to try to return to Syria. I was scared of traveling so far from my home, but I knew if I was offered the opportunity to go to Canada, I had to take it. One night, after dinner, I received a text message. We were being considered to go to Canada. My interview was in 5 days.